All right, so what's your name? How old are you and where are you from?
Wesley James Scott Young, aka Tober. I'm 42 years old. I'm from Sunset in San Francisco. And next,
Can you tell me a little about yourself, like
um,
childhood, growing up?
I was raised by for lack of a better word, like hippies. Did a bunch of time on the Grateful Dead tour while I was growing up. Parents were both drug addicts and fucking alcoholics. Father OD'd in front of me when I was 6, died. My mom, thank God, became a lesbian because she has horrible taste in men. So after like years of repeated abuse via her sexual partners, not I mean like there wasn't anything like sexual between him and I, but it was definitely physical altercations, and he used to beat her ass all the time too. Remember, speaking of which, later. Thank you very much. That's enough. But get away. My dogs are bilingual. um, let's see. I've been on my own since I was about 16 years old. Uh, I'd done 2 years already incarcerated by the time I was 16 for assaulting my stepfather and putting him in the hospital, breaking his jaw, his orbital, his clavicle, and his shin. The tire iron for beating my mom. I stole his truck. And, I don't know. It was just teenage rebellion, and trying to protect my mother, and it didn't work out well.
So, who are the most influential people in your life, and what impact have they made on you?
I would say locally, be my uncle, and like as far as like how I conduct myself in public and business deals. But I mean, like overall, I want to say Charles Manson. I do. His earlier seriously, like his earlier readings before he was what's it called, victimized by the government. But I mean, really, the only place to get health care right here is set up by the CIA. I sound crazy, but look it up. Holy crap. The Haight-Ashbury Clinic. It's creepy. Sorry, go on.
What did you want to be when you were a kid? When you were a little kid growing up, what did you want to be?
I really can't remember. I definitely remember I like the ocean a lot, but I mean, I wanted to like to do what my mom was doing. Honestly, like it was, especially after seeing how nobody else did that anymore, especially in the '90s. Like now it's like unheard of. Like I don't know. I guess the only way we rebel against a hippie mother is become a right-wing Republican or an angry punk rocker. That's really the only thing you can do. So here I am, not voting for Bush. I'm not voting for Trump.
Have drugs or addiction played a role in your life, either currently or in the past?
Yeah, I'm recovering. I mean, I'm one poor decision away from picking up heroin again, and I haven't in 21 years, 22 years. Well, I mean, it's easier though.
Don't do that.
No. It's easier to not even. No, I mean, but in reality, I'm one poor decision away. I mean,
Everybody is.
Everyone's
Yeah.
emotional. And especially during like these times of COVID, where everyone's feelings are all pinned up and shit, and no one went outside for a while. Man, it was. The depression hit everybody hard. I mean, my God, even the winners,
Yeah.
not just us losers. but no, definitely like played a role in my life as far as like having a hustle, or like having a. I remember having like a drug addiction, so I could work two concrete jobs, but then having to work two concrete jobs so I could pay for my drug addiction. So I mean, like it's always like as much as work as you do, you're just gonna. It's like an endless cycle, honestly.
What was your drug of choice, and how long were you doing it?
My drug of choice, and I'm going to say today is heroin, not fentanyl, but like black tar heroin. So classy guy. But after like burning out, I used like from 13 to 20, And I look forward to getting restrung out again when I'm like 65 because I'm gonna have lots of ailments, and that's when it's appropriate to get children. Because you can get strung out again when you're 65. You can work a few years, right? So, but I mean, alcohol has been a fantastic substitute, and honestly, it's one of the scarier things to kick is alcohol. I kicked heroin like without any methadone or anything, and that was horrible. But like, honestly, what's socially acceptable on every street corner is far more deadly.
When it's so accessible.
It's so accessible to everybody, and glorified, and just like.
And it's always something that's kind of pushed on you all the way up until it's like an issue, where it's like everybody wants to give you a drink, everybody wants you to come party. You're always at the party.
Your 21st birthday, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, but then all of a sudden people wonder how come. Oh well, how come you're having a problem with this? Well, you guys invited me. You know, you were there too. You know why?
Imagine growing up in the 60s and the 50s, where men had like 3 Scotch lunches and shit. You know what I mean? Like it was socially acceptable not only get drunk as hell all day, but beat your wife and ignore your children.
And children.
And ignore your children.
And the dog too.
Yeah, I'm swear to God. So I mean, like, it's been a. But alcohol certainly played a role in all that. And like I said, like besides benzos, alcohol is I mean, they're like the 2 deadliest freaking things to kick.
Yeah.
You have to like medically detox for that shit. I was lucky enough to go to this drug rehab about 8 years ago. I graduated from over here and pick up some tools as far as like not being able to get high anymore, or not wanting to get high anymore, and dealing with like all the stigmatism and all the anxiety that comes along with that. Because as much as you put like a little damper on it, which is dope, you know what I mean? They don't call it smart, but when you dumb that shit down like for so many years, it just shoots out of you when you stop using it. You know, like the pain you're using for is like internal, and they can't see it anyways.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird.
And the further back you go, like there really weren't diagnoses for that type of thing.
Oh no.
There was nothing that they could really do. They would do some stuff that was not ethical or morally sound, but what they were doing was not helpful either, like lobotomies, and I mean they've done some crazy stuff throughout history.
Look at the root word of hysterectomy and the root word of hysterical. It all has to do with the woman's reproductive system. In the 1950s, women were literally getting hysterectomies and lobotomies because they were having heat flashes and had going through menopause. But men didn't understand that shit yet. You know what I'm saying? Like all the doctors are men.
So they just were insane. You're clinically insane.
Yeah, you're nuts. You're having heat flashes and suicidal and homicidal thoughts. Oh, we're going to commit you. The McCarthy era was scary as fuck for women. Swear to God. And I'm sure like imposing to men, because it's like the John Wayne era. I mean, like it's the Humphrey Bogart. Right after Humphrey Bogart, you know, everybody's got to be a hard ass.
Yeah. You know what kind of got you into drugs, like initially when you were? I know you were very young.
The government, definitely. But I'm serious. Like as soon as I was locked up, they put me on Ritalin, and then when that didn't work, they put me on what they call Dextrine, which is little cross tops, little white cross. Like that's what my parents took, or old truckers took from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like trucker speed was what I did. So when Ritalin didn't work, they put you on Dextrine, and I mean, if I wanted to be normal, I would take that drug now. Like, or I guess the equivalent now is Adderall for kids. Right? But, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at the scales behind that shit.
Oh no, I know.
There were so many people that were like pharmacists and Pfizer people that were like pushing that drug specifically.
Yeah.
And then while all the time outlawing pseudoephedrine to cut down on the illegal market.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they really, like Pfizer that's some gangster shit though. Like seriously.
Well, you know, the best drug dealers are the ones that are doing it legally.
But I mean, just recently, Pfizer got caught with big heart pressure pills, heart medication pills. They just pressed with placebos.
So when you were
shut the fuck up, girls. Sorry,
come on, man.
Ladies. Sorry, they've been drinking. Lay down.
So when you were in like juvenile halls and institutions, group homes, etc., and they were giving you certain medications as required because that's what they required.
Yeah.
And then you got out of those situations. How quick was it from that point until you turned to self-medicating?
Right away. I mean, like seriously, so they had me so jacked up on amphetamines. I like that was prescribed as well, like as antipsychotic, which I did. I never needed, like honestly, anything. It's called Zyprexa, right? And then lithium, which is an accumulative drug. So like you can't even test for those reactions until like weeks into it. You know, like it's not like a right away drug. So and along with Silert, which has been taken off the market as well due to people having problems with it, like and trazodone, which and honestly in men it was scary because there's like a 20% of the population gets a painful erection.
Well, dang.
Right, it expands the blood, the red blood cells, and to the point where like a man can wake up.
That's ruining
right?
shit. That's fucking
right?
shit up for
like
people.
all the way around.
Damn.
So that got taken off. That got taken off the market later on too. But they had me like coming and going. You know what I mean? So they wake me up and then they put me to bed and they straighten me out and they screw me around and then at the end of the day I have to crash. Right? Just everything was medicated. And the answer to that shit in the late '80s and early '90s was medication.
Yeah.
You know, whereas it was institutions in the '50s and '60s. You know,
and so, what was the first thing that you tried to self-medicate with after you were?
Oh, heroin.
Heroin was the first thing?
Yeah, I didn't even smoke weed until I was 20.
So you just jumped straight into it?
Yeah, my dad OD'd in front of me when I was 6. Like my mom.
So you were familiar, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. My mom has, like I said, a horrible taste in women, or horrible taste in men, great taste in women. Like her second husband, her second husband, my little brother's dad. He went ahead and died in front of me when I was 9, and my little brother was 6. It was like
that could not see.
But it was like that was the last junkie she ever dated. But like it was almost like a round 2. You know, like it was my little
It
brother.
was something you were familiar with.
Yeah.
You didn't look at it as a death sentence or something terrible. You looked at it as something that you had seen.
That and like I said, my parents were hippies, so I mean, like it was. I want to go the farthest
Very
way I can for weed.
normalized.
I mean, like the furthest. I mean, like I was always looking to like the biker dudes my mom was dating, or anything but like some kind tofu fart blossom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I get it. I mean, you know me in my situation. I smoked weed when I was 2. So
Yeah. I mean, let's see, like in being homeless, like if I smoked weed, I had to go find some food, find a place to sleep. If you just shot up heroin and drink.
And so, what is your?
Oh, that's a dude's engine. Sorry, I thought that was my dog growling. The Porsche in the background. I'm like, what the hell? Totally. I thought that was remembered. Holy shit. Oh, man.
So, what is your current financial situation? How do you support yourself? And are you able to save money?
Well, I mean, throughout time, I've never been able to save money. Honestly, my living situation is we're living in a car I push from one end of the street to the other. I mean, I honestly can't. Girls, stop it, right now. Girls, sorry, sweetie.
Sorry.
They really don't like masks.
She's an old lady.
Sorry, she really doesn't like masks. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Girls, will you lay down, please? There is no need. They're not all ninjas. Just lay down. All samurai.
So, what is your financial situation?
We're scraping the board. We're scraping, I mean, I'm living off of food stamps. Not something I'm proud of, but
Not something you should be ashamed of either. You live in a country where a majority of everyone is. It's not something that you should be ashamed of.
But I mean, like, I don't know. But I've seen people that are way hungrier. Like I buy them food because I feel like that if I had the little certificates that I'd be able to get a job anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's hard to be homeless and Hey, you got my tools?
Yep. I sold my first piece for $500 today.
Oh.
Nice.
Jimmy's gone, but he wants more. So.
Right on.
Yeah. Right on.
So, were you buying lunch?
Sure.
Sweet.
Well,
Awesome.
you want to carry this tool, man? I got a big bag you can throw in.
Well, I'm down in the panel. If you're right here?
Huh?
You're right here?
Yeah, right here.
You can bring it down. Throw it in a big bag, please. That'd be great. Oh, there's the police. It is. I mean, yeah. Thanks, bud.
So what is?
Oh, my current
Yeah.
financial situation is broken prostitute. No.
How do
I
you
live
support?
I live at the corner of Bedlam and Squalor.
How do you support yourself?
And it's mostly through food stamps and sales and loss prevention.
Okay. So you're not able to save money at the moment.
No, I mean honestly, it's one thing or another. Like
Yeah.
right now, my uncle-in-law is that who that would be? Like my wife's uncle is in the he's on his last hurrah. So like
And she's out of state right
she's
now,
out of
trying
state.
to get back, right?
But you guys, so like,
Yeah.
I'm not
So
complaining
that's just a
about that.
huge.
That's just how life goes, you know.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, new budgets come up and more needs for things, and it's hard to scrape by. But you know, like I like to look more into going to school so I can receive some certificates, so I can some place for good benefits. And,
Do you feel comfortable answering this one?
what's that? Oh yeah. I have children allegedly. Allegedly. But for one reason or another, it's probably best that I haven't been in contact with him because Dad's been in prison. And some of those women are crazy, but for the most part, those women are taking care of their children and then they have their job. But can you imagine being with me? It's crazy as shit. Seriously, that bad. I'm a headache. But, yeah.
What's your education level?
I graduated high school like 2 years early. I got all the credits for it. I needed to do the final test, which I didn't get to do for like about 21 years later when I was in San Quentin. I did get the highest test in like the past like 10 years at the time in San Quentin, which is Marin County. Look it up. I graduated from Marin County High School.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know, but I mean, I'm pretty smart, but it's social stigmatisms. I don't get along with people. I've held anxieties from being in prison so much of my life.
Are you educated within Are you educated within any industry specifically, or field? Like,
Well, I was a jizz mopper for most of the '90s. No, I'm joking. No,
damn it!
I've been a mechanic. I've been working on wrenching for most of my life, but I mean, I've done framing and a lot of. I mean, nothing is certified, but definitely I could build a house and break it down. You know, one way or the
Yeah,
other.
I've seen some of your work. You're very talented.
That's right. But I mean, it was only because these Albanian cats up in Oregon. Like the reason I can do concrete so well is because these people homeschool their kids and they have their own set of like really like strong. I mean, it sounds weird, but strong Christian values. I got a pentagram tattooed on me. I mean, but these people were like you know. We'll give anybody the chance, you know, and like if you prove yourself to work well, and like, I worked for 6 days a week, like 10, 12-hour days sometimes, and these cats they homeschooled their kids just like my mom did, but they had like a religious sect to it, you know, like it was like they their parents moved here from Russia during the purge of what was it, like right before World War I, right before they killed the Tsar. They were the Bolshevik revolution. There were some like the people that were like they liked imperialism, so like they moved to America, but they never schooled any of their kids in public school. It's always been real like local with those cats, and they hired me because they heard how well I worked, and it was just on my merit. They never seen me, and when they were like, "Oh, okay, we'll give them a chance," you know. And those guys, I worked with those guys for fucking 7 years, and it was I couldn't have gone out to a job and gotten that shit. We couldn't have, anybody anywhere look at me and be like, "No, I'm not hiring."
So you're well educated in carpentry and laying cement and most all things cement, I guess, at that point.
That really is,
I mean, 7 years later.
no, seriously.
Yeah. So would you be willing to work in any of these fields? Like if someone offered
Never
you...
doing concrete or foundation work ever again in my life. Seriously, it's some of those painful, tie-twisted. Oh my God, the concrete pumps involved are just disgusting. You have to go up under people's houses sometimes. It's gross.
But if
septic
someone
lines.
offered you a job in one of the fields that you're familiar
Yeah,
with,
oh, yeah,
would you be willing to work?
Yeah. I mean, I have before in the past. I mean, it's always like like a single project at a time. You know, I mean, I can't imagine having an actual job now again. Like, it's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your support system? Do you have family or friends, or like who is your?
Myself, I have friends. I have some family and voices in my head. No, but I mean, she my friend, but no.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, it's okay.
I got a rope with the motherfucker.
No, it's okay. It's just totally fine.
That shit was like down. That's the new skin that grew. They like to the wrap down.
So why you do that?
Yeah. It was,
Is your support system able to help you and to support you in ways that will help you to not be on the streets? Are they able to or willing to? Because there's a difference between those two things.
there definitely is. I mean, I'm sure if I jumped through the right hoops or set through enough grading by some social worker or stepped in enough piles of bureaucratic bullshit that I can get a house. But I mean, like it's so it's really difficult to juggle just everyday life when you can't figure out where you're going to have the night before.
Yeah.
The next night, it's you know what? Even when I had an apartment, like it was kind of tough for me to like get a job because I didn't have the certificates. That was always like we're going to move you to a different hotel. And the shuffle from like the Fillmore to the Tenderloin to the Mission. And then now everyone's out there by Hunter's Point, and they're all out of their element. I mean,
well, they've shuffled everybody around so many times by now. Like they're just trying to build more condominiums for wealthy people.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. I hate to say it like that. Like I don't like to sit there and like build this stereotype, I guess, but it's not a stereotype if it's real.
Yeah, I mean it is a stereotype because it's real.
And
it's a real because it's a stereotype. Like seriously, like there's that
they come hand in hand.
That many examples of things. I mean, I'm saying like did you hear about Elon Musk saying anybody could squat the Twitter building here? Dude, he was like anybody who can get in there because he sent everybody home. Everyone to work from home because they're all Twitter dorks anyways, right? So he's like anybody who wants to. He owns the building. He owns the company. And I'm not going to enforce anyone breaking in. Like if you break in there, so if you're living in there, that's fine. You don't want to light fires. But he wouldn't prosecute anybody for squatting. I'm like,
that's
wow.
Amazing. That's wonderful.
The police like guarded that shit. For what reason?
That's so petty.
It's like the gentleman who owns the building said, "I don't care. It's all good."
Oh, sorry.
And you still want to make yourself a job.
So, are you in a relationship with anyone?
Relationship with everybody. Yeah, I got the same wife for almost a decade now. Where'd she go? Oh my God, no.
No, she's out of.
I
I know she's out of town right now, but when she gets back, I'd love to go interview with her.
Oh
too.
yeah, totally.
And.
There's a pair of 4-foot.
Oh, ladies, come on, man. Come over here.
Pair of 4-foot cars right there. I'm glad you sold your painting. It's awesome.
$500.
$500. Which
That's
one?
a great level.
Standard? Nice.
The guy really wanted the Joplin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here.
Joplin the Joplin. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hey, bud. Nice. Yeah. All right, awesome.
Oh,
doing like an interview for. Would you do an interview for?
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together